I watch a lot of women who post their journey now that social media is out and you can see it, it's there, but if you're not living it, I'm sure it's unrelatable. It is.
Everyone has their different opinions. I've actually been surprised that some women have come to my events who have asked me, is it okay if I've come? I just had a miscarriage and I'm shocked that they want to come.
Yes.
Because I'm so happy that they come.
Yes.
Because when I've been in that position, I did not want to be, I wasn't coming to your birthday.
Right.
I wanted to be happy for you, but I couldn't be happy.
From
and there were
afar.
also women who knew about my journey but didn't tell me they were pregnant until after they were in the safe zone.
Yes.
And I was offended by that because I was like, you knew about all my struggles, but you weren't telling me about yours.
Yeah.
And now I've realized, you know what? Everyone needs to do what's good for their mental sanity.
Yes.
And just all you can do is take care of yours.
Yeah. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Seasons Podcast, where we talk about everything womanhood, motherhood, and today I have an incredible guest I'm so excited to have with me. This is Sharon from the Mom Club. She hosts weekly and monthly events for moms in Miami, New York, Connecticut,
Hamptons.
In the Hamptons.
Virtual.
Everywhere. You're literally everywhere. It's incredible.
Yeah, it gives me an excuse to go to all the places I love. Like just when I get sick of Miami, I'm going to New York.
Incredible. Except for right now because they're in a snowstorm.
Actually, I would love it for my kids. They had a snow day at their school. They brought in snow from who knows where.
Yes.
And my
love
son
that.
is asking for snow. He's like, why do we not have snow? I'm like, it's not so easy to bring snow to Miami.
Yeah, the real one, the cold one.
But he doesn't get it. And he's like, oh, okay. And then, but when are we having another snow day?
Yes, I get it. I totally
and I
get
promised
that.
him snow, and there was no snow when we went in December. So.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right. So you have to go to a snow, even some of the snow lodges currently are like lacking snow.
Yeah. So
I heard that. So
we'll see. We're going in February. I hope all the snow is not gone by then.
I hope so. Oh, that's
It's
so
fun for
exciting.
kids.
It is fun for kids.
Not
But
fun for parents.
I was a former New Yorker and I am like, you know what? Now I'm a Floridian.
Yeah.
I can't with the cold.
Yeah. Well,
can't.
when we were in New York and my son was in school in New York, and the school wasn't that far, but just the stroller in the snow, and school was only 3 hours. It was 9 to 12.
Okay.
And I was missing precious minutes
Yep.
trying to get him to the snow. It was painful.
Yeah. How long were you in New York for?
So I'm originally from the city, and
Okay.
then I moved to Israel about over a decade ago, and then after
Amazing.
October 7th, I came back to New York,
Got
which
it.
is how like the whole Mom Club
Yes.
started.
Is that when it started
Yeah.
after October 7th? So it's pretty new.
Yeah, it started after October 7th.
Oh my goodness.
came.
I didn't realize that. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I came to New York alone with both my kids
Okay.
because it was so crazy. My husband stayed in Israel. He's Israeli. He can't even
Did you
work
meet him
here.
there?
Yeah, we met
Okay.
over 10 years ago in Israel.
How fun. Okay.
So it was
Where in Israel?
In Tel Aviv.
I love Tel Aviv.
And he's so American. When we met, I thought he was American. He speaks perfect English, and then you meet his family, and they're like every Israeli stereotype.
Amazing.
But he's very American. So I came alone with my kids. My husband had to stay in Israel. And basically, I found myself in all these mommy and me classes because my son was only in school for 3 hours.
Yes.
And my daughter was 3 months, 4 months. She wasn't in school.
So how old were your kids then, and how old are they now?
They were two-ish, and
you
my daughter
came-
was like 3 months.
You came by yourself.
Yeah, I was.
Oh my
I mean,
gosh.
luckily, I was so used to traveling
Yes.
with them alone.
Okay.
Which now that I don't need to do it all the time, I'm like, how did I do it?
Yeah.
Because I was working, I was freelance writing for Time Out for all these publications, so I was always going back and forth.
Got it.
My family's in New York. So I was used to the flight, but now that I haven't done it in a while, it's crazy.
Incredible.
It's a horrible flight.
And young. Yes. It's a long
Especially before
flight.
you can just like sit them in front of a TV.
Correct.
So now they're 4 and 2, so it's a little bit easier.
That's amazing.
But yeah, I basically found myself with all these nannies.
Yes.
And it was very difficult. And I kind of just on a whim started planning events.
Yeah.
Luckily, I was totally in the dark. I didn't know events like this existed. I had been living in Israel, so I was just like, nobody's doing this.
Right,
Let
a
me
different
just- let
culture,
me just-
yes.
And since my background is that I was the editor of a parenting website, and before that a fashion website, and freelance, Real Simple, Well and Good for all these places.
Amazing.
I was basically like, let me do a press event like the ones I'm always invited to, but just for moms.
Right.
And it was just to meet other people. I never thought I would be here talking to you, doing events all the time.
That's incredible.
Because I was planning on going back to Israel.
Okay.
So
Do you still have that plan, or?
after a year in New York, it was actually crazy. Everyone thinks it's because of the war, but the war obviously was not getting better. But the school my son was supposed to go to sent an email as an attachment. I almost didn't read it because it's in Hebrew and my Hebrew sucks.
Right.
And I was like, okay, whatever. Let me Google Translate this. And they're like, yeah, we lost our permit for ages 3 and we can't open. Your kid has to go to public school.
Oh, no.
Which, if you know public schools in Israel, it's a lot of kids.
Yep.
And during the war, like, there are rockets. You're like, who's going to take my 3-year-old if they need to go to a bomb shelter? So I called my husband. I was like, we have to figure out something else. I'm not coming back to Israel. He didn't want to move to New York because he has no friends here. He happens to have 3 very good friends in Miami that moved to Miami. They moved to New York and then during COVID moved to Miami.
Perfect.
Like friends from the Army that he's known forever. So I came here with my kids for a weekend, looked at some schools, looked at some apartments, and I was like, let's just come here.
Incredible.
It all happened.
And beachy, like Tel Aviv, I'm sure gave you
it's
like
a
the
lot
feels.
more vibe of Tel Aviv.
Lots of Jewish communities.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been coming here my whole life. We actually had an apartment here. It was never meant to be for a family of 4 all year round.
Got it.
I thought we would find an apartment like that. I was a little delusional because I also didn't drive. So we're still in this apartment that is meant to be only used for 2 weeks in the winter that we've kind of had forever.
Made it work.
But we're making it work.
That's incredible.
And yeah, I mean, you're definitely a lot less attached to things now. I mean, when I was living in Tel Aviv, we built our apartment from scratch on paper. Like we bought it on paper and everything was so perfect.
That's
and now
amazing.
most of my stuff is still in storage in Wynwood. I'm like, you survive. You realize you don't need so many things.
I couldn't agree more. I'm actually like in a massive like purge currently and like looking at all the things that we collect and like the bowls that they had. Like I have a 6 and a 3-year-old and I'm like, I still have this disgusting like plasticky bowl.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is gross. So I went yesterday and I tossed out bags and bags of stuff and it's cleansing.
Very freeing. Yeah.
It's freeing. Yeah, that's the word, freeing. So tell me when did you start you said you wrote for like a parenting, was it like a website, a blog, magazine? And was that before kids?
Forever. Like when I was in Cornell, I started writing for Dance Papers, which is the most circulated weekly in the Hamptons. Basically because I was the editor-in-chief of my high school paper, and then I got to Cornell, and Cornell was like, oh, you think you're going to write? You're a freshman. You're going to do all this shit, like help with distribution. And I was like, I don't want to do that. And I was complaining to my mom how I went from being to the top to being like bottom. And she was like, maybe somebody in the Hamptons will hire you. And, you know, I'm old, so this is before anyone could Google and find out you were 18 years old or however old you are when you go to college. So I wrote to them, and I was like, I've been coming to the Hamptons my whole life. Would you want a freelance writer? And they were like, sure. And my first article was writing about weddings in the Hamptons, and I was a freshman in college.
Okay.
So it really taught me a skill of just writing about whatever.
Yeah.
So I just did that all throughout college, graduated. I worked in an office for like 2 seconds and wanted to shoot myself.
Yep.
Quit on a whim and was like, I'll just do freelance till I figure out my life. This was before COVID, obviously, and everyone was working for themselves. And it just stuck, and I was writing.
Which is also an excellent COVID job.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Phenomenal.
This was like, but there was always also before the crash, and like nobody was really freelance, so people liked that they didn't need to pay insurance for me. They didn't need to do.
True.
So I picked up so much work. Initially, I was writing about fashion, which is hard to believe because I'm in my gym clothes now. But I was going to Sydney Fashion Week and Paris Fashion Week. I was going all over the place.
So fun.
If I had been more savvy, I would have like been better about YouTubing and social content. But I'm not savvy with that. But kind of like before, it was like a thing that everyone was doing. Anyway, so I had all these contacts that I never knew what would come of it. But in the end, it helped out with these events because people are like, how did you do it so fast? Like, it's like 20 years of working with all these brands. So when I started planning these events, I didn't have a business plan. I was just like, you know me, like, can you just send me some stuff as a favor so I can meet some moms?
Right, like
because
genuine,
it was never a business. I thought I was going back to Tel Aviv. I never thought I would end up in Miami. We were only in the Hamptons because my kids didn't get into camp in Miami. And I was like, what the hell are we going to do now? Let's go to the Hamptons. And just started planning it there because, you know, whatever.
Well, a lot of families go to the Hamptons. That's brilliant.
It just worked out. It was never supposed to be that way.
That's what they do. They go to camp. They go to the Hamptons. They go for summer. Well,
now
you know,
right? I mean, I've been going to the Hamptons my whole life, but now I know that summer in Miami is awful. So it was a blessing that I didn't go to camp. Basically, I was trying to sign them up for the camp at their school.
Okay.
I put my password in too many times. Chase locked me out. And Chase is the worst. They make you come there in person for everything. It was basically like, to unlock it, you have to come in person. So I called the school and I was like, can I just bring you a check? Having issues with Chase. And they said, sure, not telling me that this camp sells out in like 30 minutes.
Oh, no.
So by the time I got there, camp was full. And yeah, so I was just like, let's just go to the Hamptons for the summer. And I didn't realize how lucky it was that summer here is just pure hell.
Yes.
But I didn't know how to drive, so I never actually thought Hamptons. So I had to learn how to drive,
Yes,
which is like
you need to
another
drive in
thing.
the Hamptons.
I learned how to drive to take my kids to camp. And then I got
my
overly
gosh.
confident that I thought driving in Miami is the same as Hamptons, and it is not the same. I've almost gotten into so many accidents. Actually, just today I got a note on my windshield that this isn't the first time in the garage that I'm taking up 2 spots.
Oh, no.
I'm like, they've now let the board on the building know that I can't park properly.
Oh, gosh.
So,
yeah. No, you know, it's funny because I thought the New York drivers were crazy, but I sympathize. Like, I-95 is wild.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It's so scary.
It's so scary. And it's funny because we have this like very chilled Florida vibe, but like, where's everyone trying to get to?
They're like weaving,
Yeah.
and it's just so, and the number of times I've had to get off at the wrong exit because somebody won't let me in, and I just don't have the aggressive. I mean, I would be if I had the skills to back up.
No, 100%.
But yeah, so I still hate driving. I actually survived a whole year here walking my kids to Venetian Island. It was almost 40 minutes every day. And I convinced myself that I just love to walk because I'm from New York and
that was your workout.
But now that I drive, I'm like, I really didn't like to walk. It's kind of like doing the flight from Miami to from New York to Israel. I was like, it's not so bad. And then when you don't have to do it, you're like, no, that's hell. Yeah. And I did it in coach, and I was so cheap that I always had my daughter on my lap and my son. Like I never bought them a ticket until they were 2 years old. Because I would always be like, okay, then I'll get to New York and I'll use that like $2,000 to buy whatever bag or whatever. So I was just like visualizing what I'm gonna do with the money instead of the seat. So it was pure torture.
Yep.
So
I get that.
but you do what you have to do.
You absolutely. I mean, your story so far, I'm like, this is incredible. I genuinely didn't know how like new the mom club was. It's incredible. So tell me, before you were a mom, what was that like for you? Because you said you were writing already for a parenting magazine. Were you always like, I'm gonna be mom, this is what I want to know everything, be part of everything?
I always knew I wanted to be a mom, and I always knew I would have trouble conceiving because my period was always messed up.
Oh, interesting.
So
Okay.
they tell you, I think you wait a year before seeing a fertility specialist of trying. And I knew, like, as soon as we got married, I was like, I had that appointment because I just knew it was going to be a problem. And I lied and I said, it's been a year of trying. I didn't know I had PCOS. Like now you look at any I could diagnose it. Why no one told me, I don't know.
And I feel like that's the new buzzword. Like a lot of people don't know or didn't know, or now this is new.
I didn't even know what it was. And I only remember a friend of mine it was somebody I knew, we were Facebook friends, and she had posted, I'm not pregnant, I'm just doing IVF, and she had a huge stomach, and I remembered it. It's in the back of my mind. I always thought I was going to need IVF.
Right.
So when I started seeing a doctor, I messaged her right away, and I was like, tell me everything I need to know. She had been so traumatized by her experience that she actually became a fertility counselor.
Oh, wow.
And she said, what's your diagnosis? And I was like, I don't know. I can't have a baby. Like, they don't tell you this information.
They really don't.
So insane. I didn't know IVF from IUI didn't know anything. I literally, and by the time it got to the point where I knew I was going to need IVF, because I did a lot of other stuff before, I said, well, I don't want to do anything with needles that doesn't have 100% chance of success.
Fair.
And they looked at me like, that. Now I know that's such a crazy thing to say.
Right.
They were like, you'll be lucky if you have like 30% chance of success. In the end, I had so many rounds. Something people don't talk about is that IVF is actually free in Israel.
Interesting.
Which people, and even if you're not Israeli or not a citizen, you can get, it's so much cheaper there.
Yeah.
And now with everything going on, we understand why they need more kids.
Yes.
It took me a long time to find a doctor I liked. For a while, I was seeing a doctor in New York also, because Israel is very like facts. These are the facts. There's no hand-holding.
Yep.
And I needed a lot of hand-holding.
I mean, I'm sure.
Then after a while, you get very numb and you're like, just give me the prescription. Let me get the show on the road.
Right.
But in New York, doctors, because you're paying $1 zillion, are a lot better at like hand-holding and all of that stuff.
I just found out that insurances are starting to cover it.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, because I know a friend who went through it, and they're covering IUI, which I also had no idea what the differences were. So the IUI is when they inject the sperm into the egg, and IVF is when they explain, everything comes out, and then they fertilize the egg and put it back in.
So IUI, they're just taking the sperm and putting it basically where it needs to be. And with IVF, they're taking out the egg, so it's obviously more invasive.
Got it.
But there's IUIs that you do with shots, and really, honestly, the shots are the worst part.
Oh,
So
interesting.
IVF, it has a lot higher chance of success.
Yep.
And really, the shots are the worst part. People think the egg retrieval is the worst part. It's really just like the shots that suck.
Yeah.
For the insurance to pay for me, I needed to do 3 rounds of IUI with shots. And my doctor in New York was like, that's going to be useless for you.
Yes.
But if you want to do it for the insurance to pay, you should do it. And having gone through this process, I can't even imagine doing it knowing in the back of my head, this is costing me $100,000.
Right.
So I did whatever the insurance wanted.
Yep.
Because in the end, it took 7 rounds for each of my kids.
Oh, wow.
So it would have cost a fortune. So
Yes.
to know that it was,
Yes.
basic. I went to see a private doctor, so I had to pay him, but it was nothing compared to everything else. And now, thank God for these technologies. But if you know, I always knew in my heart there was an issue.
Absolutely.
And now I do these events with Chabads. I've done them in the Hamptons, in Miami, New York, for women trying to conceive. Because what a lot of people might not know is that in Judaism, baking challah, the idea of women baking challah together is you can manifest.
Yep.
And I could even, I don't want to tear up, but it's so powerful because when you're going through the IVF experience, it's so isolating.
Yes.
And I actually connected the most with very religious women in Israel because for them, I thought it was isolating. Imagine with all your friends have 10 kids.
Correct.
And you are people want to relate to you, but they can't.
They can't.
So it was, I really connected with them because it's bad to say, but I was like, well, you have it even worse than me. But that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Because there were people who in the time I got married, they were still single. Now they're on their second baby, and I'm still struggling to have my first.
Right.
And my kids are so close, and people think, oh, it was so easy to have your baby.
Yeah.
No, I just knew I was going to go straight to IVF. And I
Right.
started when Max, my son, was 3 months old.
Right.
And I just
Well, yeah,
did it
because you, I'm sure,
boom,
were
boom, boom, boom.
not knowing how long it was going to be from there. I can only
so
imagine.
They tell you you're very fertile after, so I was like, maybe I'll be one of those.
Yes.
But no.
No.
I was not one of those. But also, once you know it's going to work, you're a lot more calm.
I could imagine.
For the first one, I
Right.
always needed to take mental breaks.
Yes.
And actually work helped because I was writing for all these local publications in New York. So it's I'm just going to go to New York. I'm going to go to the Hamptons. I'm going to take a break. So it was a 5-year journey. Could have been condensed, but I needed so many mental breaks. And just nobody talks about it. And it comes back to the mom club too, because I have so many friends. I'm born and raised Upper East Sider. My best friends live in the city, but most of them are still single. And the ones that had kids moved to Greenwich, which is how I ended up in Greenwich,
Right.
another story. But so they couldn't relate. They wanted to relate, but they
Right.
couldn't. And
Right.
especially with my husband not being there. And they're like, I'll help you babysit. And I was like, I know you think you can help me with a 3-month-old and a 2-year-old, but they were so well-meaning, but just nobody gets it besides other moms.
Correct.
And it, maybe people didn't understand what I was going through with Israel and all of that, but you could say sleep or whatever,
Right.
naps. And
Right.
moms just you can connect. I've
Yeah.
connected with so many women I have
Yes.
nothing in common with.
Yeah.
And if you took away our kids, we probably wouldn't
Yep.
connect.
And that's the truth.
But it's so needed for mental sanity. Or
Yeah.
the Hasidic women, you would never think I would be, having coffee with these women, but it was
know.
just what I needed in that moment. So it's all about, it's so cheesy, but it's just you need people who understand you. Even my mom wants to understand, but she's
Yeah.
she couldn't
Of course.
she just still doesn't know the difference between IVF and she can't keep the acronyms.
I mean, it's very challenging, and I think you make a good point. For women that are able to conceive, it's not really a thought.
Right.
Oh, what does that mean, and how do I go through that? And like you said, the time frame, the timeline. I only learned through other women myself. Thank goodness, I never had a miscarriage, but I have friends that did, and that also drifted us apart. I've had some incredible friends that I couldn't understand why they didn't visit me when I had a newborn.
Exactly.
But she didn't tell me because she didn't want to upset me, or she wasn't ready that she had a miscarriage, and I couldn't be there for her, and vice versa. It is very isolating.
Totally.
In general, to be a mother. A lot of women say that, you become a mom, and like you said, some women that don't have kids, it just doesn't align anymore.
Right.
It's your whole identity shifts, who you are inside and out. And if it's something, like you said, that you really, really want,
Right.
I know it's very tolling. I don't know from a personal note, but all the research and,
Yeah.
shift in hormones and, I watch a lot of women who post their journey now that social media is out and you can see it, it's there, but if you're not living it, I'm sure
Totally.
it's
And it's
unrelatable. It is.
Everyone says everyone has their different opinions. I've actually been surprised that some women have come to my events who have asked me, is it okay if I've come? I just had a miscarriage and I'm shocked that they want to come.
Yes.
Because I'm so happy that they come.
Yes.
Because when I've been in that position,
Yeah.
I did not want to be, I wasn't coming to your birthday.
Right.
I wanted to be happy for you, but I couldn't be
Couldn't
happy.
from
And there were
afar.
also women who knew about my journey but didn't tell me they were pregnant until after they were in the safe zone.
Yes.
And I was offended by that because I was like, you knew about all my struggles, but you weren't telling me about yours.
Yeah.
And now I've realized, you know what? Everyone needs to do what's good for their
Yes.
mental sanity.
Yes.
And just all you can do is take care of yours.
Yeah. I think that's beautifully said. It's like grief. Like there are
Yeah.
stages of grief and not everyone handles it the same. And
Exactly.
I think that's so perfectly said because that's all I think of all the time is like the mental health, where I was before kids and where I was with kids and then where I was after kids and where I am now. Like you literally are different people at every stage.
And different things help different like the fact that people were coming to my events all with moms, I would have killed myself at the time. I would have been like, you couldn't pay me to be
Yeah.
around other moms.
Yeah.
So which is also how the Challah Bake started because I
Yes.
realized how much
I
they
love
need to
it.
be around others, and doctors are not always there for you. That you really have to dig to find those
You
doctors.
do. You do.
And I found an amazing one in Israel who actually was now he has a startup called AIVF.
Okay.
That uses AI to help find the best embryos, and he was doing this. I didn't even know what AI. He was telling me about this.
Right.
So I didn't even know what
That's
AI
incredible.
was. Like,
right.
6-7 years ago he was talking about
No,
it.
the way life has changed.
Yeah.
The world.
I didn't even know. I was like, okay, great. Yeah, I didn't even know what that
Just
was.
make this work.
Like whatever. But he's very. I don't want to say he's old, but he's older. So the fact that he had all this experience, but was on the pulse of what's going on. So he was amazing. So it's all about finding your doctor and your people and.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like different people for different seasons.
100%. It is exactly that. And I had my first child during COVID. So in the
very
midst of very isolating. And it's funny, someone asked me the other day. So it was like twofold. I could see an incredible woman and we hit it off like now. But she asked me a question and she looks at me and goes, and I could tell that she had no idea what postpartum was. And I thought that was so interesting because I guess everyone goes through their own journey and some women have no idea and some women go through the thick of it. Were you someone who had postpartum?
I think because I did so much fertility stuff that it was like, the stuff that bothered other people was like, it just didn't bother me that much. I also was very, very sick. I had, what's it called now? Like ruined my life. The thing where you're like throwing up all the time.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
And then I would eat like a popsicle or a piece of gum to get the taste out, and that would make me throw up.
No.
So the nice silver lining is that I didn't gain any weight during, So I think it's very not PC to say, but a lot of reason people are depressed is because they just don't look the way they did.
Fair.
And I feel like I can only say this because I struggled, but I left the hospital like looking like I could just fit into my clothes. And that was a big part of why I was mentally sane. I also, in Israel, you can take your kids everywhere. So I was back at the gym, which for me is so key to my mental sanity. Like I'm in my gym clothes today. And also our first events with the Mom Club was all workouts you can bring your kid to because nobody in New York would.
Right.
But in Israel, it's like we have bigger problems. You want to bring your kid to our workout.
I love that.
So my kid was like, they were a few weeks old and I was taking them to the gym. I was back to working out. So it really helped with mental sanity. I also think sticking with your routine. Like I was throwing up, I would still go to the gym and I would just lay on the floor. Oh my gosh. I did nothing.
Just to be in the environment.
Just to be in that environment, to the habit of like putting on my workout clothes, just getting there. Even if I left right after the warm up, it was just all habit, but it's a lot harder.
You kept it.
It's a lot harder when it's not as accepted here. And I feel like there's so much judgment here. Oh, you're not breastfeeding. Oh, your kid doesn't have the vaccines and they're at the gym. I didn't even know that was a thing until I moved back to the U.S. that you don't expose your kids. My kid was at like the gym with me at 2 weeks old in a stroller with headphones, like noise canceling. And you know what? I see everyone who's having worms and the most nasty diseases. Knock on wood, my kids have had nothing.
It's incredible.
So
and I wonder if it's because of the exposure.
Yeah, they're just like, I didn't even know that I was supposed to be worried. They were like, are you sanitizing or this? I'm like, didn't even know, and they're fine.
That's incredible.
There's a lot of marketing and BS here, and in Israel it doesn't really exist. There's 2 formulas. There's this or this, and there's not a million choices,
which causes fatigue.
Yeah,
there's
like
actual choice fatigue.
So I think parents are just overwhelmed with everything they need to do. And breastfeeding, I'm a big advocate of like, do not force yourself to breastfeed. I knew it wasn't for me.
Thank you for that.
Some people think it's beautiful. I didn't think it was beautiful. So if it's great for you, I love the idea of a baby brezza that I could press a button and like a cappuccino.
Absolutely. 100%. I ordered one of those. I thought it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. It was like a Keurig for formula.
And I have moms who tell me it's so easy to breastfeed because I can just open. For me, like I'm not that person that would just breastfeed. And for me, I knew for my mental sanity, I need to go to the gym.
That's so important.
I had the bottle. I went to the gym around the sleeping schedule. I was also very strict with sleep, which joke on me because now sleep is a nightmare. But I never understood moms who can't be strict when kids are young.
Right.
I was so easy for me to be strict when the kids are young. Now that they're old and they're like, Mommy, I want this. I'm like, oh, maybe they are hungry. Maybe they are.
Know.
And sleep has become a freaking like nightmare. So
that's so funny. I relate with all those things, and I think that's the importance. And like honestly, personally, on a personal note, that's what drew me to you, because I'm in this era. I did go through some very severe postpartum. I was always very anxious, and I did therapy very young, and I went on the Zoloft and the Lexapro, and I advocate. I tell everyone before, during. I knew that.
And you were on it during.
Yes.
Which is also a myth. It's like, why are you telling women to get off their meds? Why are you telling them not to eat sushi? Like, you can eat sushi from Nobu. I ate sushi from Nobu my whole pregnancy. And you know what? I got food poisoning from vegetables.
I believe you. I believe you. And I tell... And I tell that, and it's funny because second time moms will say like, oh my God, I was crazy. Sometimes not, but I everything I'm hearing, that's the truth. I call it fear mongering.
Yeah,
like everything is this, cultural, like, don't eat this and don't do this and don't go here and don't do that. And the truth is, like, I do segments now and people still look at me like I have 4 heads. But yes, I had a psychiatrist and I prepared when I was ready to have kids. And I said, listen, if I'm like this before children, I know what pregnancy can cause. Your child takes in everything.
Oh, totally.
And I come from a family that's very anxious, and I know that I took on all the anxiety from my mom. Like, why would I do that to my kid? Why? Not only that, like, thankfully, because I also had a postpartum plan. So, and I still got postpartum. So to me, I'm like, imagine if I wasn't on my regimen, that I didn't have a doctor on call, that there wasn't a backup or a plan. Like, there were times, and I speak about it openly, it was very scary for everyone. Like, my husband didn't tell me in the thick of it, but afterwards was like, sometimes I'd leave the house and I'd be very concerned for both of you.
Yeah.
Which is fair. I mean, I openly talk about it all the time, but, and I wonder if it was just a storm. I did have my kid, like you said, I gained a lot of weight. I had a lot of childhood trauma, interesting, that came up while I was pregnant. So even though I didn't have trouble conceiving, so much came up during pregnancy, so much. I always had a weight issue. And so that came up and that expressed itself. And I mean, the things that I can go on about, but I always tell exactly those things. If you need meds, take your meds.
Yeah.
Don't be a hero. I mean, you're not being a hero for anyone.
People are telling you not, why? We have, or even Botox. Like, my dermatologist was like, I can't do it because you told me you're pregnant.
Right.
But we know as doctors that you can do Botox and it's not going to do anything.
I'm sure.
But it's just why?
Well, everyone, let's be real, doesn't want to be, if they don't get sued or they don't want someone to come back to them, and I did this. But you know what the beauty is? There are some doctors that will say, no, great. Like, I had my psychiatrist who spoke to my doctor, and I had a whole plan, stayed on my meds. Thank God. And I tell women all the time, if you need them, take them. Yeah. Like, if you have a broken leg, you're going to cast it. If you have an ulcer, you're going to take something. Like, mental health is real.
Your kids absorb everything.
Everything.
Which is also with the workouts where we're like, well, wouldn't you rather this? Wouldn't you rather? No.
Well, that's the whole thing.
Wouldn't you rather your baby sleep in your bed? Wouldn't you? No.
Because you're not protecting your sleep. Yeah. I agree with that. I was not a co-sleeper. I couldn't do it. I had one of those little boppies for a while until they couldn't move, because then I was paranoid that they're going to move and roll. Right. And that was a whole nother thing. But then COVID. Right. So the gyms had closed. Same like you. I was really into before. I was like, you know what? I'm going to stick into this. All of my friends isolated themselves. Right. We had, Where babies. I was in New York and Queens.
Oh, it's like the worst.
The worst. It was funny because my son was born November of 2019. We were in Fort Lauderdale when New York was closing down. And everyone's calling me. I'm like, that's a joke. New York never closes. And then it's all over the news. You need to come back. They're closing the bridges tomorrow.
That's crazy.
We left. We drove. It was insane. So like that, I'm sure, didn't help with my mental health.
Definitely made it worse.
And then, like you said, back to women like you, I was dying for all of the Mom and Me classes. I couldn't wait. And I'm someone who's a social butterfly. I'm like, I'm going to go to this and we're going to go walk together and we're going to go to the gym together. And I was alone. I was completely alone and scared because there was all of this, no one knows, don't get too close. And you
don't have other moms to tell you, like, I remember the pacifier getting wet with water and I was like, oh my God, he can't have water. Like stupid stuff first time moms are obsessed about, and you don't have other moms to tell you. So okay. Of course your anxiety is like through the roof.
Yes. And so processing it now, back to the woman who asked me the question like, oh, postpartum, and how did you come out of it? And I never think, like, it's so funny because of this podcast, I start thinking about it and I'm like, I don't know if we've all processed COVID still. Like the ramifications of like changing speech guidelines, like we talked a little bit about, looking at kids who need therapy or don't. But I just find it so interesting. I don't think until recently, like all these years later, that I put it together that must have like 2-3-fold over the anxiety that was underlining always with COVID for 2 years. That's how we ended up in Florida because I was like, great, I have no friends. It's freezing. So I couldn't even get a cup of coffee. Like there was a point where I could walk with my kid and get like a cup of coffee and sit outside.
It's like a drug transaction in Israel because people like, Israelis just make it work. So you're like texting and you're meeting on the corner and and in Israel, like nobody, they took it seriously. Like there were all the rules, but the mask was hanging. So we did, you could go to the beach, but you couldn't hang out in groups. So people would meet for workouts and pretend to be like,
not together. And I could have, and that makes me smile.
New York wasn't like
New
that.
New York was, there isn't even a word for the amount of fear and anxiety. Like my son got RSV and I'll never forget it. I called my doctor virtually and she's like, Daniela, I couldn't even have you come here. So just go straight to the hospital.
Yeah. And then it's like you're in a hospital during COVID. Like,
and then you can't have your partner. So it was me and my kid at 4 months, and he ended up staying for 4 nights.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and I'm like going through this, and I'm like saying it out loud.
Like on a good day.
But the whole thing was traumatic. The birthing was traumatic. Everything was traumatic, and I think about it, and I'm like now, right? This like quote unquote healed me.
Was he able to come to the delivery?
So my son was born right before COVID, November of 2019. But that was also a traumatic birth. He didn't cry when he came out, and no one said anything. And he had amniotic fluid in his chest, so he
you knew that something was off, or you only knew after the fact?
I guess I pushed out this kid and the room was silent. I guess my expectation was that the kid cries.
Right.
And it was a good 3 seconds. So I was the one that said he's not crying with my legs wide open. God. I promise you, I remember it yesterday. And thankfully, she smacked his butt, my midwife. The whole thing. What's it called? The epidural didn't work. Anything that could have been anything.
My only birth plan was the epidural.
Thank you for that, because there were other ones that oh my God, are you sure? And I was like, I am sure.
I don't even understand why.
I came into the hospital. I was like, please hook me up. Where does it go? Didn't work. There was this button that I had to wait 10 minutes.
I pressed the button too many times.
It didn't come. It didn't work. And then they had to come again. Oh, goodness.
Horrible.
We could have a whole thing about that.
That's
but
horrible.
It was horrible. The whole thing was horrible. I had a episiotomy.
I had an episiotomy too.
And then I had to stop pushing mid-push because the umbilical, everything anything.
God.
So the only thing I'm thankful for is that the NICU doctor, I guess they wait there. I didn't know. There is a doctor. Early? No.
Okay,
yes. Actually, with Luke, yes. He was 2 weeks early, but not underweight. He was 6 pounds.
So it was the NICU because of the fluid.
Yes. I guess they just wait on the sidelines. But there was a point where the umbilical cord around his neck. So I stopped pushing. Oh my gosh. And then, so they take that off but at that point, all these like things had happened.
Right.
I have a picture with him on my chest. That's like a photo op. And he went to the NICU. So you and I talked about breastfeeding. My milk didn't come in. I'm sure it was stress. Maybe, you know, some women just don't. So there was that, but it was everything. I was in so much pain and it was like a delirious moment. I never had that bonding. So like back to postpartum, it's kind of like all of these things. It was just like
Nobody
a disaster.
talks about the pain either, like the physical pain, like after the baby.
Pain. And like you can understand, you had a episiotomy. Like all I could think about is I can't sit down.
Yeah.
And then my kid's crying and I need to go be a mom all of a sudden. And then in the hospital, the nurse, lovely lady, is like making this like make do nursing bra and like wanting me to pump and he needs this.
Oh God.
And I was like, but lady, I don't need this. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And then there was a whole latching thing and he wouldn't latch and he's screaming, this little tiny person with tubes everywhere.
It's
I mean,
horrible.
girl, when I tell you.
That's
so
horrible.
back to mom clubs, I needed that so badly and it didn't exist. It wasn't allowed. Right. So I come to Florida, thank God. We were here 2020. So, I mean, his first birthday was via Zoom. Like it was a whole different world. And thankfully, Florida, a lot of things were open. There were small little groups happening and it was like unheard of and oh my God, don't, you know, but schools I think came back sooner. My son wasn't in school yet, but the beach was open.
Right.
So I moved in front of the beach. I literally was like, if I don't have friends, I'm going to the beach.
Yeah.
And it was the best thing that we ever did for my mental health, for the sunshine, for our kids. But then I was able to go to these small little meetups and then we all flourished. It was like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm still friends. While I was still pregnant, there was one place that did these groups, Mommy and Me in English. And I was like, when's the soonest I could join? And we still have a chat. And now it's been almost 5 years and we're spread out. Some are still in Israel, some not.
Yeah.
And you still connect
Absolutely.
with them because they are the ones who are really with you.
Yes.
And it was funny then when I moved to New York, thank God there was a Mommy and Me for second-time moms, because when you're a second-time mom, you cannot relate to first-time moms.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, it was great because I tried to join another mom group in Israel, the same one again for when I was still living there.
Right.
For most of them were first-time moms, and I was like, these questions are just so irrelevant when you have two kids.
Yes.
Do you have two kids now?
I have two kids.
Yeah, it's like all your problems are about the older kid.
Correct.
Basically.
Yes. I mean,
or the
like,
dynamics between
right,
them.
exactly. And then they're fighting, or one wants this, or like, am I forgetting about the second one? And you go, I get it. All of the growing pains, but also you don't,
And
I mean, I'm sorry. I love my Oliver, who's my younger one. You don't give a shit.
Yeah, you have no time.
I mean, you just don't have time to worry about the hot dogs, the sushi, the this, the that, the cleaning. It fell down.
Is your younger one more chill?
He is wild. He's incredible. It's so funny that you asked that because my older one is very sensitive. And I wonder if that was because of me. And just like being overly cautious. And again, with the COVID and the everything, not that
or
he
the
will
traumatic
remember.
birth. I kind of thought
the
that
traumatic
was
birth. It could have
that for
been.
mine.
It could have been. He's super sensitive, super connected. Like I say that like his soul is still connected to source. Like he is just sensitive and has these inquisitive questions. And Oliver is typical boy. Jumping off the sofa, pulling Luke and screaming but like cute and delicious, but like totally opposite, totally wild, totally free, like no inhibitions. And I love that for him. Three years. They're 6 and 3 now. And I love that for him. But it's also a learning curve for me to be softer with Luke because I find that because he is, I guess, more put together. I don't know, it's terrible to call a 6-year-old that, but it's true. I expect more of him and I shouldn't. And I go through that often where the 3-year-old gets away with a lot more because I'm like, oh, that's just him.
True.
So I'm still managing that.
I mean, we forget how old they are sometimes.
Yes.
They'll make a mess and I'm like, don't you see that I'm cleaning up? And I'm like, when you think about how inconsiderate most adults are, and it's like now we're thinking for our 6-year-old or our 4-year-old to be like thinking about how much we're going to have to clean up.
Right.
So and they could act very mature. So we really forget how old they are.
I'm a culprit. I say that sometimes, like, you know better than that. And I'm like, that's not fair. Maybe
Yeah.
they didn't, or they didn't think, or,
Yeah.
you know, they made this structure that is a mess everywhere, but like, just look
I
at their
know.
little structure. I'm
know.
still working on that.
It's
I know.
really-
It's really hard.
Especially if they come back, like sometimes my daughter, I'm like, I'm sorry, mommy. And I was like, oh God.
That's happened to me too.
I feel so bad.
I feel bad too. But you know what? It's so important for us to have these conversations
Yeah.
because then we're feeling bad alone.
I know,
And then we go
exactly.
down the rabbit hole of I'm a shitty mom.
Yeah.
And like you said it best because that is also another truth. You had mentioned something about like nannies. And we talked about that a little bit right before we started with parents that are more affluent. And so I find it's funny that you say that because, and God bless them, like if you have the money and you need the help, nannies, yes. But then there are some kids that are just raised by their nannies. And I've had that, it's so funny that you say that because I've been in other mommy groups that the other women were nannies and didn't speak English. So I'm with the other kids and it was
Yeah.
incredible for my kids. But you
But
said
you're
it
just- you're so
perfectly.
bored and
I still
Yeah.
didn't have the support. And so finally now, that's how I found you. That's how I found you in particular because I
Yeah.
started really cultivating that for myself, finding other moms. And now more moms are influencers and more moms are, you know, just wanting to be around other moms in schools.
Right.
And I was the one was like texting, like, can we meet up? Can, you know, let's
Yeah,
have dinner.
I
Let's
hate
have
being at
talk.
home.
But that was me. And, you know, everyone would say, like, I'm seeking that, but thank you for making it happen. It's the same for you, Sharon. Like, if
Yeah.
you're not making it happen, we're all wanting it, but we're not finding it or doing it or have the time or the energy.
Right.
Like, tell me more about that. You came here with 2 kids. What drove you? You said you were still working. Like,
Yeah.
where did you get that umph and ability? Because we also talked about behind the scenes exhaustion, which is also very real. Where did that all come from for
Well,
you?
the events are all stuff I would want to do myself.
I love
and
that.
I specifically do them so you can bring kids of different ages. Because a big problem is people only want a 6-year-old. They don't want a 6 and a 3-year-old.
Yeah.
And that's very annoying. So everything I do has multifaceted. If it's for kids, you can bring various ages. Or I'll do workout events that are followed by mini facials or something. So you're hitting
love that.
Botox
Yes.
or like,
Right.
you know, things like you were checking multiple
Yep.
boxes.
Yep.
I also want to do something where everyone feels comfortable. If I'm doing a workout, I want you to get a great workout if you're like me and working out every day. But there are people who've come to my events who have said, I have not worked out since I had a baby, and their baby is like 3 or 4 years old.
Yeah.
And they just don't work out.
Yeah.
But they still feel comfortable. And I bring an outfit, and there have been some women who have like, do I have to wear the outfit? No, you don't need to wear the outfit if you don't want to. But they end up wearing the outfit because they thought they weren't going to feel comfortable because
Right.
maybe they're bigger than they want to. But they
Right.
realize like, we're just like all in it.
Literally.
And I think there's a lot of places, especially in Miami, where you can feel uncomfortable.
Yes.
And like, I can be a mean mom. I don't want to be a mean. I'm like, I don't have the energy for it. And I've been in situations where
yes.
there's so much bitchiness.
Yep.
And like, trust me, like I could be as mean to you as, you know, but like, why?
Yeah.
So
Waste of energy.
Yeah,
I
it's
agree.
a waste of energy.
I agree.
So like somehow I think the events have just, I don't know what, but somehow it's attracted like people with good vibes
Yes.
that just, which is the only way I can explain that somebody who told me they might not feel comfortable
Yeah.
wearing the outfit
Yeah.
ends up feeling comfortable and like, this is cool. Like we're all matching. It's fun. You don't even need to
Yes.
think about it.
Yes. You just
which
made
is-
a safe space. That's really
Yeah.
what you did.
I mean, even coming here because there was traffic bringing my kids to school. So I only do sweats 440, which I don't even like that workout, but they have a class every 10 minutes.
Okay.
So I missed the 850 because there was traffic and the thing was blocked and I could only get into the 950, which meant I didn't have time to shower before coming here. But
But
like,
this is genuine you, and I love that.
But so with the events, I like having an outfit there. So like, you know, if life happens, you know, you don't even need to think about wearing a cute outfit. We're gonna have an outfit. We're
I love
gonna have
that.
sneakers. We're gonna have just whatever. Like
Socks. I love your socks. I saw them.
So it's so funny. This mom came to an event I did, and she started an embroidery company, and she asked if she can make socks for one of my events, and I'm so obsessed with them. So she made
How
me
incredible.
she calls it the Embroidery Club.
I love it.
And so she and I teamed up for a workout event, and I'm so obsessed with them.
It's incredible.
And actually, these aloe sneakers, which are somehow still so white, because I was on with Kristen.
Yes!
We did aloe sent some stuff, so it's still left over. And this outfit is actually, we're doing an event in Greenwich with Beyond Yoga, and everyone's going to get this outfit.
How
So I was
lovely.
shooting something with it today. So just like multitasking, how do you do it? I mean, I still feel like compared to some moms who are like a zillion kids and like full-time, like I still don't feel like this is a real job. So people have like real jobs where they have to wear a real outfit.
Yes,
and, you know,
I know what you mean.
can't schedule a doctor appointment in the middle of the day. I don't know how they do it.
I know.
So I just try to combine everything, and sometimes it means showing up to meet you in my gym clothes.
I love that.
And that's
but you're
just,
here,
like,
and I appreciate
life.
that. And that's the truth. I think that's the most important part about these groups.
Yeah.
Also, that they came, you gave that space. It doesn't matter what
Yeah.
you look like or what you're wearing. And I think for a lot of women, because like, I'll be honest, I think I was postpartum for like at least 2 years.
Yeah.
I literally and I tell the whole world, like, I just found who I am at 37 with my last kid being 3. And it's funny because I flirted with the idea of having a third kid, and like the questions that I've got asked were like, would you want to go through it again? Are you ready? The sleep, the postpartum, the this. Sometimes the answer is yes, and sometimes the answer is no. Knowing the hardship, knowing that I've been through it, but I think like that's the crazy part of being a mom.
I know.
Like you're almost irrational sometimes, just
it's
making it
hard.
work. But God, I love that so much because I could relate. Like you don't want to wear the outfit, but everyone's wearing the outfit, and you just like, just the vibe, just the
that's
energy.
word. I never want somebody to feel like they couldn't wear an out, or like I don't know, or don't feel like
you
they
belong.
Yeah. And also, like, I think it's also because I went to the Lycée Français in New York, which is a French school, and there isn't this whole bully, like, it just isn't part of the culture. Yes, there are people who had more friends, who had less friends, but there wasn't, like, bullying or rich, poor. Like, there are people who are zillionaires I didn't even know. I didn't care. They're all cultures, all this.
Yeah.
And now, you know, being here, there's so much of that, and I feel like I want to keep my kids in this bubble. I feel like I grew up in this perfect bubble. Unfortunately, then Brad and Angelina sent their kids to the school I went to, and it became something else.
Oh, no.
And now it's just as bad as everywhere else, which I probably shouldn't
hysterical.
say in case we move to New York and I want to get my kids
gosh.
there. But I feel like I grew up in this nice bubble, and I'm just trying to recreate that vibe for moms because we're just all exhausted and we want somebody to relate. And I always just say, I hope you leave the event with one more phone number of somebody you can call when you're having a bad day.
Yeah.
And maybe like for one person, it's a bad day because you're trying to have baby number 3 and it's not working, and you know this person is going to understand it, or you know this person will understand you just got rejected from this school, or like whatever. Like
all of those things.
We need 1 million numbers in our phone
Literally.
of people to call to complain.
And it's so funny that you say that because I think it's really important. I think a lot of moms, in my experience, like don't realize their value. Like I have a mom, like you said, that I would call because I want my kid to get in the same school. These are my concerns. Are you feeling that? Your kid is there. Then I have another mom who like, you know, her daughter was diagnosed with diabetes. And then I have another mom, like, you know, there's just all these women that I think in the thick of it also don't realize their value. Totally. Just knowing you, just knowing that I'm not alone. It goes back to that core piece of you're a nice human. You were trying to all raise other nice humans. Like just be there, like literally just be next to me. We don't have to talk. You don't have to mingle. You can come, you can go, take a drink, don't take a drink. But like
your screaming kid, which is another thing. Like
that's incredible too.
People think like I can't leave the house, which is maybe contributes to your postpartum too, because I see it with a lot of my friends.
That's a good point.
Where they don't want to leave the house because like, I don't know, my kid is having a bad day. They're going to have a better day if they're outside. And
That's
like,
true.
People really don't care. They're just happy it's not their kids screaming. Like, even like,
some people are really nice about it too.
And if they're
worry.
not, like, whatever, you're never going to see them again. Who cares?
I agree.
And I've been in places, like, we were at a gymboree and somebody came up to one of my friends and was like, your kid is wild, like, get control over him. And I wanted to tell her to F off. And my friend was obsessing over it. Like, even like 2 weeks later, she was still bringing it up. And I was like, you're never going to see this person again. Like,
OMG.
Yeah, like, but we just have to let go of what people think and just think about yourself.
Absolutely.
Just think, which I also say to the events, like, even if it's a mom-only event, if your babysitter cancel, whatever, you want to bring your kid, bring your kid. Like, I don't care.
Yes.
Like, nobody else is going to care.
Yeah. And that's part of the mental health that you offer. Like, it's really as simple as that. Like, you're giving... I agree. Change of environment. Just get out. Just get in your car. Go for a drive. Go to, like, even if you get there. I went to, speaking of Kristen, she just started the Morning Mom Club. And I didn't know her as, like, a television host. I knew her as, like, this mom club. And I get a phone call from my friend. It was Sunday. And I remember chaos in my apartment. I forgot what was happening. And, like, randomly, she's like, my friend Danielle goes, do you want to come to do solid core? And I'd never done it before. I'm like, I haven't done Pilates in I don't even know how long. and she's gonna be fun. There's gonna be, like drinks after and whatever. And I like turned to my husband and I was like, I think I'm leaving. And he looks at me and the kids are screaming and I was like, please? And he's like, fine, just go. And it was incredible because I got to leave the house.
Yeah.
I drove all the way to Little Solas. It was a nice 20 minutes. I was late, but like they knew my spot was there. Everyone was so nice and waiting for me. And like the instructor was talking and come and join. And it was lovely. And we got a little bag at the end and I felt like a cool mom all of a sudden. I felt also not mom. Like, I have that question for you because I guess I'll ask you a very deep question. As someone who has gone through IVF, do you ever have guilt? Twofold question, because this happens to me, and I'll say it first. There are times where I'm like, fuck these kids. Like, it just happens. I love them with every part of me, but I'm like, you're an asshole. Do you have that? And then do you ever have guilt from that because you wanted kids so bad and it was so hard?
There's something like I was thinking about that Dr. Becky said. She said, we've all said things to our kids that we regret. And I just think about that all the time because I say things to my kids all the time that I regret. And I guess we're all passing on some trauma to our kids.
But we're also human.
Yeah. I mean, so that's all I can say. There are plenty of times where I tell my husband I just need a moment and I just like lock myself in the bathroom and I just stay there for an hour and I'm just like doing whatever on my phone. I just need to be by myself.
Yeah.
And there are times where I've said things to my kids that I really regret, or like when they're not sleeping, like I put a couch in front of my son's room so he wouldn't get out. He like knocked over the couch.
Hysterical.
So like jokes on me. I was like, just stay in your room.
Yeah.
He would not stay in his room. And like, there's just not, and you were like, I was like, I'm not going to walk you into class. I'm going to drop you off in the carpool lane. And like, why would I say that? Like these horrible things.
Right.
And it doesn't even work. It's not like he was like, okay, well, I guess I'll go to bed because I want you to walk me into my class.
Mom.
He's like, I don't care, like, whatever. Like, so it's,
I get it.
It's very hard. And I find the toddler, like, when they're speaking a lot harder.
Yeah.
When they're just the New Year's, I didn't find as hard, probably because it was more fresh in my mind.
Yeah.
Now I was thinking about having a third, like you said, and then I got the flu, and I was like, you know what? I can't do that again. Because the flu knocked me out. And I was like, I just forget how hard it was.
Yes.
So
I heard that's purposeful, that you like literally forget how painful it was or the struggles or the exhaustion. And I'll be honest, with my second kid, I had guilt because the first one I needed so much help. And thank God he was young, but like we were talking about babysitters. I had an incredible babysitter, but I really banked on her. Like I would just sleep. I just needed to sleep. And that's, another part of postpartum. Your hormones don't regulate until you sleep. And with breastfeeding and with
one night of no sleep is like
one night. And I think of it now, like if I wake up for whatever reason or, one of them is sick, I go back to like, I don't know. I actually don't think I can do this again with a newborn and be present and normal for my other two kids. And listen, if you can have, like, honestly, part of me is like I say it all the time, like my ovaries say I can have 5.
Right.
But like, I don't know if it's like ethical for me to have another kid.
Right.
With my second one, like you asked, he's super needy. He's delicious, but mommy everything, which is beautiful because I tell myself, Daniela, you're going to miss this.
Yeah.
Love it. Enjoy it.
I know.
But it's exhausting.
That's why I have the kids sleep with me now. I'm like, you know what, whatever.
I mean,
you want to sleep with me now. In a few years, you won't want to talk to me.
I think that's the shift. I think that's like a really important shift of like, I've got to do everything right. Everyone tells me to do this. Then you have to break that stigma and then you just got to figure it out.
Yeah, that's what I've realized.
You just got to like be a present mom and just like, it's going to be okay and they're going to be fine. And I honestly find when I'm able to, even if I'm dysregulated and re-regulate and tell my son who's like very with it, I'm sorry, mommy just had a moment. And I feel like you can relate to this because you just went to the Bluey event in Miami. And my younger son is obsessed with Bluey.
So good.
I want to write to them because they have literally helped me raise my kids. Because there's this episode where Chili, the dog mom, we call her Chili Dog, tells her kids, like, I just need a moment.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I'll have to like.
My kids have seen that episode.
I'll have to like send you the clip, but there are a few hidden messages, and because
amazing.
It is, and because Luke is so in tuned, he brought it up to me. I didn't even correlate, and he goes, it was two things he said. Are you, because Bluey had said, are you it wasn't the word frustrated. He just knows frustrated. But are you grumpy with me?
Wow.
So Bluey had asked Chili Dog, are you grumpy with me? And then she apologized because of it. She's like, no, basically they're a dog, but basically the idea, I'm a human. I'm so sorry.
This is amazing.
Incredible. And it's so funny because I had this conversation with someone who's not a mom but she has like a niece now or something. And I was like forced to watch Bluey, and we've seen probably all 3 seasons 3 times.
So you're better because you sit there. I'm just like, here's the TV.
Well, sometimes I need that moment, and I just sit with them, and like we decompress together because I'm like, screw it. Like I think about that. I'm like, they're watching. Okay, maybe we'll chit chat about it, or maybe I'll just sit here with you. And some moms, like, I offer that. Like, just sit there. It's okay. Like, don't do the dishes. Don't do the laundry. And sometimes I just need that. And Luke will say, like, oh, what are you doing? And I realized that he literally just wanted me to sit there.
Totally.
So we're sitting there watching Bluey. And then there was a moment that Chili took 20 minutes. She literally just looked at everyone and calmly said, I need 20 minutes. So Luke goes to me, Mommy, do you just need like a mommy break?
Oh my God. Wow.
And I said, yeah, baby.
I need this clip.
Yeah, baby, I will send it to you.
Wow.
And it just came to me recently because I need to go to Miami to Bluey because Bluey's coming to Disney. If you didn't know, Disney World is bringing Bluey to Animal Kingdom this year.
Oh, yeah.
So for Bluey fans, because we are diehards, Mickey and Bluey. We call it Mickey's house, and now Bluey's joining. So we're going to go at some point this year. But Aventura Mall just started, like just opened
it.
it.
Just by chance because we went in New York, and my daughter was like, I want to go back to Bluey's house. So I was like, okay, I'll get us tickets to go to Bluey in New York. And then I saw, he's in
I didn't
Miami.
even know it was in New York. That's so cool.
So we're going.
We've got to go.
So we have to. We saw him here and back. They don't even like Bluey anymore, but it's like seeing somebody they know from TV is just so exciting.
It's so exciting, and they do a really nice job. I saw the
that
whole.
place is amazing.
I've got to go, but it's just so funny because like I was parented through Bluey.
That's amazing.
And it's funny, like listening to you, talking to you, because you have like the Israel culture. You were saying that you were in a school. I know exactly which school because I was in the Upper East Side. I worked in the Upper East Side for most of my.
They were actually further up.
Adult year.
I was in like the old, like beautiful mansions.
Oh yes, they switched, but I know exactly
they
which.
turned them into a museum.
That's so
and,
funny.
Yeah, now they're like high tech and.
But I think it's so important to grasp that the different cultures, and like I wonder how many non-Americans are looking in like, huh, you're worrying about that?
Yeah.
And it's so true because Bluey's Australian. And I think about that all the time. I'm like, just the values that I wish that more of us, including myself, would just take in. Like, yeah, I am grumpy, honey.
Yeah.
Yes. I am a little upset that you spilled that when I just cleaned up a million times. And
Just we wish we could say it like that instead of being like,
100%. Always.
are you trying to drive me crazy?
Yes. Yes. Like there was another day where I almost scared myself. It's funny that you said that because my son wouldn't stop jumping and I just wanted him to put on his pajamas. And I said, you can jump after, you can do, and we talked about it too. I'm a behavioral analyst, and you would think that I could just like, you can't therapize. Is that a word? You cannot therapize. You cannot do therapy on yourself. Everyone asks me that. But like, don't you have the tools? Bullshit. You can't do it for yourself. Very hard to do it for your other kids.
Yeah,
I
like
can
the
talk
doctor
about
never operates on family.
It's all the emotions, and we're in bed, and I just go, and I smack the bed and go, ah!
Yeah.
And he looked at me. I was like, I'm sorry, I'll do better next time. And I like died for a second, but also was like, you know what? Great, thank you. You will do better next time, so will I.
Yeah.
We learn together.
Yeah.
Please get your jammas on, and mommy will be okay and read you a book.
It's just like trying to apologize. And I think somewhere it said apologize, but don't say but, which I don't know how you do. Because I'm always like, I'm sorry, I yelled and I got so angry, but like, come on.
Right.
You were doing, so I don't know how people can apologize without saying but. I mean, we're all working on it, especially.
100%.
I mean, I spend a lot of time with my kids. I'm sure you do. So it's like, it's inevitable. I know there are things that have happened, like in the school where my kids are, where parents have gotten upset about things. And I've kind of just thought, that's probably because you don't spend that much time with your kids. So you don't know how easy it is for that to happen.
Yes.
For like, yes, a teacher. So there was like an incident where a child, 2 kids got past the first layer of security and then the second layer of security caught them. and the parents went bananas.
That
And I
just
was
happened
like,
at my son's school.
You know what? It was chaos. It was picture day.
Yep.
The number of times I've been at the playground and been like, oh my God, where's Max? Where's
Yes.
Max? Like, it just happens.
It happens.
And this is with 2 kids.
To the
Imagine
best of
having
us.
15 kids.
Yes.
And so it's just, when you hear stuff from the outside, you're like, how could that happen? Or even you hear, God forbid, like these kids who drown. I mean, it happens so fast.
Yes.
Like, we were in the
Yes.
Hamptons this summer. I'm watching my kids, but like,
Yep.
things happen. I could have totally seen something bad happen 1 second. I'm going to get the mail, and it's just
Absolutely.
that 1 second thing.
Absolutely.
Day one, they figured out how to open the gate to the
Yep.
pool and how
Yep.
to open the gate to the stairs. Like,
Yep.
so it's like,
I know.
I don't know.
It's like that beautiful curiosity that like literally could kill them. I get it. I get
yeah,
it.
it's like that. And you don't want them to lose the curiosity or like
Yes.
the chutzpah where it's like,
Yes.
why am I fighting over if you can have ice cream, you just had cake?
Yep.
But like, I want you to be an adult. You know, people are like, how do you get all these brands to work with you? It's like, well, you never get what you don't ask for.
Right.
And kids are so good
Yes.
with like just
Yes.
asking for
Yes.
the world.
Yeah. And it's beautiful. I feel like sometimes we like lose touch with
Yeah.
that. And I learned like looking at my kids, I remember and like thankfully I'm like hoping that they look back and like, wow, I had a really good childhood.
Yeah,
And
I'm sure they will.
I'm
sure they will.
I hope so because I finally have tried to like reframe it that I want to enjoy childhood with them because like I came from a single family home. Like I didn't really have that. And my mother worked a lot because she was a single mom. So like I didn't have that.
Mm-hmm.
So like you said, we're very fortunate that we can spend a lot of time with our kids. I do all the pickups. There's no longer a babysitter, only if there's date night and I need to go out or
Mm-hmm.
something, an event, which again is okay.
Right.
But like I feel very fortunate and I really like the hardship is also like I do run my business full time as well.
Yeah, and you need help too. And can't feel guilty about when you do need help.
Well, it's funny because I don't know if it was you or someone else who's posted about the phone. And I try to be really conscious because now even with talk to text, so I'm driving and like, you know, my son is decompressing and I know he doesn't really want to talk, but I also want to like offer him that I'm there. But then like a text will come in from work and then all of a sudden 20 minutes go by and I realize I'm having a full conversation with my work phone and not my son. And again, it's like, find grace, right? Like we all need to we're human.
It's just the reality. It's just like the reality of what it is.
It is the reality. And sometimes I'll turn around and be like, baby, like, this is how we make money.
Yeah, my
Which
husband
is
does that.
a Bluey thing too. There's
Oh,
an
yeah?
episode where Bluey wants ice cream and finds $20 on the floor that belongs to the dad bandit. And he's like, do you think money grows on tree? And so the whole episode was about,
Wow.
I'm telling you,
I need my kids to get back into Bluey.
it's like, I guess it's like the phase I'm in also. And like with my kids who are like grasping it, but I'm like, what a good value.
Totally.
No, money doesn't grow on trees. Yes, sometimes we need a break and I'm sorry I'm doing work, but like, that's how we pay for nice things. You want your
Yeah.
nice toys. And I'm like thankful that your husband does that because I think there's that balance of like wanting to be perfect, which is never, you know, but it's the truth. We all have that. We want to be this perfect mom, this perfect role model, whatever it may be, perfect friend, perfect everything. But I think also the value of teaching your kid of being human, that we're
Yeah.
not perfect, that we do mess up. Mommy messes up. Mommy gets
Yeah,
angry.
yeah.
Mommy gets sad. You know, these are happy tears, sad tears, you know.
Yeah.
I tried to shift to, I need your help more than like, go do this. That was something that did shift
Yeah,
my
that's
kids.
That's such a good.
It was a good one. Someone
and they
else,
love to help.
I think a therapist of mine actually told me
good.
that because I was all about like, well, you're not following the rules. And I went down this whole rabbit hole about my kids not listening to me and they're not following the rules. And she goes, did you ever want to be told that like these are the rules? And I said, She goes, try this. And again, behavior analyst, I should know this. You don't. Ask him for help.
That's so good.
Mommy can't handle this. Please help me. Probably
I
the
love
best
that.
advice that was given to me. So instead of like being like, do this.
Such good advice. I'm going to use that.
It's wonderful.
You can use it for anything.
For anything. Mommy just really needs your help. I need your help, clean. I will do it with you, but I really need your help. And sometimes it offers like the kid to ask back for help.
Yeah.
And I tell that to my 3-year-old who's, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do everything. And then I let him do it for a second and he can't. And I say to him before I help him, it's okay to ask for help.
Yeah.
I ask for help.
Yeah.
And I guess like going full circle, like you're offering help to everyone. And like, I haven't been to an event yet, but I
Yes.
genuinely,
Yeah, you need to come.
I genuinely, like, when I found you and followed you because of other women who have helped me, I'm like, you know, making all these connections. And like, it was really important for me to have you here because I want other moms to find you, which
so
is
sweet.
twofold. But also, like, to offer you are helping where the need is.
That's
like,
so sweet.
where
I
I
really
really,
appreciate that.
really, I needed that. We all need that. And you, like, your motto of mommy be here, not the nanny.
Yeah.
Like, come.
Yeah.
I think that's so important. And I think that it just kind of gets us out of, you know, the thick of it. The running
Yeah.
around,
I do
the
it for
organizing.
myself.
I
need
know.
it.
I love
need
that
it.
you
I
said
need to
that. That
just,
this
like,
is genuinely
do
you.
it for
And
myself.
I love that you came as you, and I
Yeah.
appreciate that so much.
Which is why even when people are like, well, why don't you do like a wine? And I'm like, because I wouldn't want to go to that.
Yeah, and
Like,
it's okay if you
it's
do.
just like, you
some
know?
moms do. Like, there are some times where I do want to get dolled up, and it gives me an excuse that I do want to be with other women without my kids.
Yeah, exactly.
But there are other times where, like, no, I can't find a babysitter, and yes, my kids, you need to come. And it's also great to have them like watch you work out. Like,
I mean, I thought my son is the laziest person ever. Everyone was like, he's going to be so athletic. He's been going to the gym. I mean, I tell the owner of the gym I went to, Leakey's in Israel, that she's the reason I was able to wait till my son was almost 2 to sign him up for school because she let me bring him to the gym every day. But he's lazy. He's still in a stroller and he's 4.5. He's like, doesn't want to, so it does nothing, which is another reason, like, moms, like, you can chill out because your kids, maybe they won't take your good qualities, but they won't take your bad quality. They are who they are.
they are who they, I think that's really important. I think that's like beautifully said because they really are who they are. And it's kind of like, they're just born who they are. And you can nature and you can nurture, but like in their soul, in their essence, they just are.
Yeah.
And I think it's like getting rid of those expectations of who you want your kid to be and like just do the best you can as a parent and do the, I guess, like, again, that puts too much pressure on us. Just like be the best that we can be.
I mean, it's hard either way. It's like you want your kids to be a certain way, but also just like I mean, I've gone, I remember walking in the city with one of my close friends and her just breaking down crying, walking by a clothing store with these beautiful clothes. And she's like, I always thought I would have the daughter who's gonna wearing these perfect outfits. And she has like a sensory issue and she refused to get dressed. She had to pull her kid. And it's like, but that's just, and it's hard to let go. Like you want to just be like, they are what it is. But it's like, we all have these pictures of what they're going to be.
Always. And I'm guilty.
I remember my mom when I was younger saying, I was holding my fork weird all the time. She was like, can you eat properly? And I was like, what do you care? She's like, it makes me look bad. And I didn't understand what she was saying. Like, who cares? Like, I can eat like a monkey. Like, what does it make you look?
Right, the
now,
food gets
as
in
an
my mouth.
I completely understand how your kids. And we all know we can't control our kids.
I know.
But somehow we still feel like they're a reflection on us.
That's so well said. Yes.
And it's from all. The doctors put pressures too. I know there are moms who have come to events where they're like, my daughter's in like the 1 percentile and the doctor says she needs to eat. You cannot get a kid to eat who doesn't want to eat.
Correct.
You can't get a kid to stop. Like, it's just, so why are doctors, why are they saying, I don't know, what do they want from us?
I know.
So.
And you bring up a good point because like that goes back to empathy. And like there are some incredible doctors that are just, but also like, I get it because like their brain is wired a certain way.
They're just
like
following the rules.
Right. I couldn't do it. And they're just like very factual. Well, you know, studies show. And I'm like, be human.
Yeah.
Connect with me.
They don't even have the time to.
They don't have the time. And sometimes like really like the mental capacity. Like it's just not in them. Like talk about being who they are. They're really good at their job, but they're not so good at the human aspect.
And people think moms should just suffer, I feel like, which is why maybe people have postpartum and they don't know that it's postpartum because they're just like, well, it's just hell and you're just not supposed to sleep. And that's just how it is. Like when I had the episiotomy and had to sit on the donut pillow for like 2 weeks, I just thought that's what everyone does because I just thought.
God, you're bringing back memories.
With my second one, when I didn't have an episiotomy, I was like, whoa, there are people who don't need a donut pillow?
Yeah.
I was like, because everyone just makes it seem like it's just normal to suffer.
Yep.
That was not normal.
Yep. 100%.
You know?
100%. And I remember specifically saying to myself, I can't take care of myself and I need to go take care of this little human who won't stop crying. and like be good about it.
Yeah.
Make sure they stay alive.
Yeah.
Like,
and when you're so worried that you could kill them at any second, like anything you can do.
Yes. And I have tons of moms because, and I guess that's the beauty of like what you do and what I do and why this podcast started, because that's the truth. We suffer in silence. And it's just, well, I didn't know, like someone who's never had anxiety before doesn't even know what the word anxiety is. And like, I don't know, maybe it's a blessing. I think about it, now, like I had the preparation and I knew how ugly it could be and how ready I needed to be. And I have moms who tell me like, I cannot have another kid because I didn't sleep because every 5 minutes I had to touch the baby.
To make sure they're so.
That's real. Like I'm like, I got
Gotta
chills.
Get the snoo.
Yes.
Get the snoo.
Yes.
Because that's the only saved me from anxiety.
Well, there's now, when you look back, they also say that's not, I mean, everyone says something, right? Now you're not supposed to do that and it's not safe anymore and blah, blah.
So I don't care what everyone said.
I agree. I think I think if you have done your research and you know your kid and you can only do as much as you can.
Or you just have to know what causes you anxiety.
Correct.
I knew I would be one of those people like, are you breathing?
Yes.
So the fact that I had the snoo where the baby could not move, turn around and like stop breathing.
See, for me, it was the Nanit. Do you know what the Nanit is?
Oh, of course.
Oh my God. And I got them that little band and it literally showed me the heartbeat and it would scream at me. There was one time it screamed at me, false alarm, but it screamed at me. And I was like, you know what? It's working. And I wrote to them and I'm like, what
They're
happened
an Israeli
here?
company, actually.
Oh my God, they're incredible.
Yeah, they're amazing.
I tell everyone, it is expensive as F.
But it's so worth it.
My kid is 6 and 3 and I paid for the subscription.
Also, it's so nice because I was in Israel. My parents were in New York and they could see the kids and it was so nice for them.
Yes.
I remember my mom telling me like, just so you know, Dad is always looking.
I love
just
that.
so you know. But it was so nice
It
and
is.
They would love to see them like in their room.
I agree. But that I agree with that saved my life as a mom. Like if there was one thing I'm like, cool, at least I know my kid's sleeping. So I would sleep. I'd sleep peacefully. And then thankfully, like we said, the formula, I wasn't like, oh my God, now I need to wake up. Now I'm also in pain from breastfeeding because that's a whole nother rabbit hole. And like we get back to culture, we get guilted into these things that are not good for our mental health as moms. And like if we're not stable, we can't even offer any other iota piece of us. Like you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah,
and
so true.
I couldn't fathom what that meant until I couldn't.
Yeah.
And and everything suffered. And it
I'm
was
sure even knowing you still have times where like you probably should have hired a babysitter for that day, but you felt guilty, so you didn't do it. Like,
I even had a babysitter that day and it still wasn't enough. Because the guilt was like, oh, I'm not with him. I probably should be.
My husband just took the kids for the first time alone to Israel for 2.5 weeks. I've never been apart from my kids besides for one wedding I went to for like 2 days. I flew to London for a wedding and I thought I would be so recharged and new and it went by like that.
Yep.
I felt like no time went by. We need so much. We could do like a year of like.
I know. And the truth is if they're happy and they're doing stuff, they don't have a concept of time.
Yeah.
And I tell a lot of moms that too, like take the vacation. Like, I know for me, it was like, I needed to do it for my marriage. I needed to do it for me. I needed to take the break. And I have friends who are very anxious about flying and they're beautiful, like really stable friends, but like will tell me, no, my anxiety is getting on a flight and dying. And then what happens to my kid?
My parents always flew separately because of that.
I mean, and you know what? This day and age, like, there are freak accidents, but also I like to offer like, my OB said this and it was like brilliant to a friend of mine. Like, you could leave here right now and get hit by a bus. Like, please don't get worried about getting on the plane. And like, that
or
sounds...
fly separately. I don't know if you're really that worried. Right.
But like, I think, we can get fear from anything. But like...
Oh, yeah. Well,
that's and I think, but that's...
It goes back to the meds. Sometimes you just
need it.
Need it
just for the clarity. Yeah. Just to like breathe, just to feel like... whoa, like space freed up to think about something else and then, bring back that sense of normalcy.
I also, when my husband left with the kids, it made me appreciate him so much more because I realized how many times he talks me off the ledge.
Yep.
Because I get really anxious and he's like, always, sometimes you just need to somebody to be like, it's not like, who cares? We're healthy. Like, who cares? We'll figure it out.
Amen. Absolutely. I love that. I agree. I always say like, and we fight about it because my husband's like the logical as logical can be. And I'm like, so really emotional, like the yin and yang.
Yeah.
But sometimes exactly that. Like he will just be like, let's take a step back from this. And I'm like, okay.
Like you're not in this alone.
Yes.
We'll figure it out.
Yes. And like in the scheme of things, it's okay. And if that falls through, that's okay too.
I don't know who said this, but it's a quote I think about all the time, that health is a gift only the sick can see.
Yes.
And I think about it all the time.
Yes.
Like you're healthy, your kids are healthy, and like in the end, that's all that matters. And after October 7th, when I left Israel, just being so detached from things too, which is why the Mom Club is so great, because in Israel, I was always had that apartment that everyone came to, and I had a house that an apartment I was so proud of, that I loved so much. But I don't need it. Like you can eat anywhere. You can
anywhere.
Like it's just not being attached to things and just be attached to people.
I love that. I love that. Yeah. It's not the materialism. Yeah. It's the connection. And I think kind of like what resonated, the first thing that you said, because I still feel this, and especially like, unfortunately with women, like unfortunately, a lot of women are not nice to one another. And I think that's also like the judgment, and everyone's afraid of that. Like, and your
own insecurities.
It's totally your own insecurities that we're projecting on other moms that just need you to be kind and accepting. And like, again, back to the Moms Club, like you really offer that. Like I see all of your things and like the topics, like, oh yeah, that is a good topic. Or like, that wouldn't resound with me, but like, that's a great point. Or maybe I will take something from that. And like, again, if we're not sharing that, then we're just going down the rabbit hole of like what dyes or what cleaners or what school, like you said, or, or what friend or what belief or what food, like.
Yeah. I mean,
we're
just to know other people are in the same boat. Like, the toxic event I'm coming up, which is like supposed to be easy swaps that you can do to be low toxic, but just to be around other moms who are like, oh my God, like I have plastic. I mean, like there's nothing we can do. So
correct.
And I have PCOS, which is why I had all these IVF issues, and I still like microplastics and we're just trying our best.
There's only
all we can do.
Exactly. I mean, my Tupperware got really gross, and I'm like, maybe it's time to turn to glass. But that's the only reason why, because I was ready to throw it out, not because I was like, oh my God, I need to change. Because that, again, like we said, you go down the rabbit hole with like, now I need to change everything. Everyone's going to be sick, but then you get into that sick culture.
And nothing is an easy chore.
No,
like everything is like so much research, because you can't trust what anyone says, which I also hope the events are kind of like cutting through that.
I love that.
Where it's like, okay, I just started a supplement regimen, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to quickly like Google, find out.
Oh,
and it's like, no, like this one says they're this. Everyone says they're bioavailable. Everyone says they're this, that. But are you third party tested? Are you all these things? Like, nothing is easy.
Nothing.
So now I don't know if it's because of this research, but I just started taking some supplements and I already feel better. And I'm like, maybe it's just because a placebo effect from all the research I did.
That's real. Placebo effect is real.
I'll take it.
I will take it too. I agree.
Buy it.
I absolutely agree. And then, the truth is, like, you can spend thousands of dollars, but just keep trying. I tell myself that. I'm like, okay, if it didn't work, maybe it did. Maybe it didn't. Maybe I'll try something else. And then,
I do feel more energized.
It's incredible. It's incredible. We talked about B12. I go and I get a shot weekly. I get a B12 shot weekly.
At a few of my events, and I never did it because I have just such a phobia of shots, even after all these years of IVF.
100%.
Giving birth, my biggest fear was the IV.
Yeah.
So I never did it, but after you said, I was like, I should do it because the moms love it, which is why I had it at the events.
Incredible. I used to always need a nap, and I think that was part of the depression. And now I'm like, it's 5 o'clock. I didn't sleep. I didn't need to sleep. Yeah, I'm tired. We're all tired, but I didn't need with every bone in my body to take a nap. So which naps are okay, but
you do the shot or an IV?
I do both. So once a month IVs with like a bunch of stuff in it, glutathione and God knows the whole bit. But then once a week I do a B12 with like an immunity booster and like a fat burner. And I do like all the beauty stuff that, some of it I'm like, yeah, great. And some of it I'm like, no, that B12 is.
The IVs, which also goes back to, I think people think women should just suffer. When I was pregnant and nauseous, nobody told me that I should get an IV.
Yes.
Why did none of the doctors, they were just like, oh, you're sick, you're whatever.
Yeah.
I ended up actually having to have an abortion with my first IVF success because at 16 weeks there were heart issues. There were a lot of issues that came.
Yeah.
And in hindsight, I'm like, they said there's nothing I could have done about it, but I wonder because I was so sick and nobody told me I was dehydrated. I should have gotten an IV. somehow I found, I don't know who told me, I got an IV with I can't remember the thing that makes you not nauseous.
Yes.
That when I took it
Correct.
by mouth,
Yes.
it did not work.
Yes.
But by IV, it was
Yep.
the only
Yeah,
thing that
'cause
gave
it
me relief.
Well, that's the whole thing about the B12. There's no like
Yeah, so it's the
digestion.
same
You don't
thing.
have, you fully absorb it because it's not
Why
going
are they
through
not
the
telling-
stomach.
Why is the doctor, why are they not telling you this? Like, I don't
I know.
understand.
And it's all new. I mean, new, right? I mean, it's just coming out now that there's an IV stop on like every
Yeah.
corner when you're driving, and the peptides and the this
But it
and the
helps to hear
that.
it from a doctor, I would
It
think.
does.
But maybe
It
they're just not in
does.
the know. I don't know.
I don't know. It's funny that you say that because I think, like I think about it now and I'm like all the things, but I'm still thankful to modern medicine for all of my anxiety pills that I was on. I will never knock it. And if you need it, take
Yeah.
it. It's there. And it literally saved my life. And I
100.
tell every woman, like, it's okay if you're scared, but if you really need it,
And whatever.
anytime.
So good, get off of it. You like it.
Correct.
I mean, it's just
and
like,
now there's like natural stuff, and you can
Yeah.
try, like you said, supplements, and that's why I love this platform. I'm gonna have a hormone doctor come on, and the next couple
Yeah,
of
whole
weeks,
other
I have
thing.
so many questions that actually now doctors don't have answers for. I went to my PCP, and he's incredible, a Stanford guy. I asked him to run my hormones, and he's like, "Well, what do you want me to run?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm not the doctor."
I know.
I don't know. What does that mean? And but he's not wrong. Like you go to these websites and it says they're going to run, but it never gives you a list of what they're running. So there's all of this
There's
like
a lot of
knowledge, not
noise.
knowledge that
Yeah,
again we
it's
can go
hard.
down the rabbit hole with. But it's like there's no right or wrong. We just all do our best.
Yeah, just find people that you can trust. That's all I want.
It goes back to that village. That's it.
Just find somebody and they can give you the answers.
Yeah, yeah. It's someone that you trust. I think
Yeah,
that's like
you just need somebody to trust.
Right.
I don't have the time. You don't have the time
Correct.
to do all this. Even just
Yeah.
finding.
Yeah. 'Cause maybe you
Thorn
tried it.
for is the one that I
Right.
ended up. Everyone said they're the best.
Which one was it?
Thorn.
Yes,
And
I love Thorn.
I was like, is it worth all the price? I tried asking ChatGPT a
is.
million different ways, but it is worth.
I used their methylfolate during both births.
So it's
Pregnancies.
worth,
Yes.
because price doesn't always mean
No,
it is the
no,
best.
yeah.
But
And that was actually from a psychiatrist who told me Thorn.
yeah.
It wasn't even the doctor. She said that you're taking, again, I was under really good care. You're taking this anti-anxiety. Take this with it.
yeah, because at least you know they're using the highest quality. Your body's actually going to
Exactly,
absorb it.
exactly.
So I thought, then I'll know if this is really working or not.
Absolutely. No, I'm very big proponent of Thorn. That's so funny that you say that. Yeah.
Yes, come help me with the Mom Club event.
I
Thorn,
love it.
if you listen
I
to
love
this.
it. I know. I mean, incredible. They're really, it's just, gosh, we could talk all day.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
know
I
we're
hope you
both.
come to a next
I
event.
will. And
I know
there's
it's
so
far.
much I love everything that you're doing.
I really
Again, I
appreciate
think
it.
it's like, it tugs at my heart because I didn't have that. And like, luckily with Oliver, but 2 years of COVID's a really long time.
That was the only reason I was grateful that my fertility journey took so long.
Yeah.
Because I skipped
After
the whole
you
COVID.
skipped it.
I actually wrote an article for the Jerusalem Post at the time where
Wow.
I interviewed my doctor, all the women that were they were in their 40s, and it was like the window to have a baby is shrinking, and they stopped all the IVF treatments, which
my
was
gosh.
just because everyone was so didn't know what was going.
I think that was the bigger thing. It was just the fear of not knowing. That's why we didn't connect. It was just not knowing.
Yeah.
That's all.
So I was in the middle of an IVF cycle. It was like 2 days before they were supposed to retrieve the eggs, and they were like, everything is shutting down. My hormones were a mess because you're
no.
suddenly like going from all this to
Right.
cold turkey.
Right. Oh gosh.
Yeah, it's just nuts. Like thinking back at that time, but I just thank God I didn't have to deal with. I mean, it sounds bad to say, but I didn't have to deal with what you were doing. 'Cause it
No,
was
and we all have our
so
season. We
hard,
all have
yeah.
our journey. Like you had that, but then
Yeah,
I did
exactly.
have a COVID baby,
Which-
and
exactly. Everyone has some.
we
shit on
always
their
have
plate.
at 100%. And the more that we open up and talk about it and have like talks like
Yeah.
this, and thank you for being here. You
Thank
were
you.
so awesome, and you're doing again. I like.
Dude, this was like a therapy session for
Oh,
me.
thank you. I
feel
mean,
like-
it is always for me too, and I love doing this, and I just like. It's such a breath of fresh air that like we're
Yeah.
all doing this together, like mom to mom. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes they have moms, sometimes they don't, and it's, and I tell other women like it's okay if you're not wanting to be a mom, that's okay too.
Yeah.
But I think just like being genuine, being kind, like that's always my takeaway. And then I'll ask you, because I always ask my guests, if someone just picked up this episode and didn't know you or does know you, what's a piece of advice, either mom advice or whatever? What do you offer to someone that just found you?
I mean, I would always say, go back to the quote that health is a gift only the sick can see, because it's really something I think of pretty much every day, that just no matter what, you're healthy, and just be grateful that you're healthy.
Incredible.
And that's pretty much it.
Yeah. And then Sharon, tell everyone where they can find you so that they can come to the Mom Club, follow you if they need help or
So we
questions.
started in New York, so it's the Mom Club 212 at the Mom Club 212, and that's just me. If you send me a DM, that'll be me answering.
I love it. I love it.
I love how I always say we, but it's really just me.
I love it. I love it. True mom. And we will share the links. Obviously we'll share all your events. They're incredible. I plan on going to them.
Thank you.
And from the bottom of all the moms, like we thank you for, sticking it through and creating the space and the community, because it is a village, and like, there's no other way to say it or do it. Like, you need the community. We are social beings. We just need it. And being a mom is a whole nother animal.
Yeah, definitely.
We need the support.
So many hours in the day and yet not enough.
Never enough. Never. And like, to sleep, I'm like, sleep. No, I do need that sleep.
Oh my God,
but it's the truth.
And my kids are going to bed at like 10 or I can't even talk about how bad. And I've done so many sleep events, and then I just don't take their advice.
Yeah, I that's another one. I have lots of things that work and don't.
Yeah.
I'd love to talk about that with you. But Sharon,
We'll be
again,
back, part 2.
Yes, 100%. And I would love to join you at events. So stay tuned.
Yes.
Hopefully. But Sharon, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. This was so fun.
Thank you.
Guys, stay tuned. Like, subscribe. Please follow Sharon. Please come to an event if you're in Miami, in New York, in Hampton, in Greenwich. I mean, if you need a community, she's offering that community. Incredible things, just everything, all the things, Mom. Stay tuned, and we'll see you next time.